Hey everybody, this is Mr. Ryan for ninth grade math summer session version. This is going to be lesson 4.4 and we are continuing with quadratic functions. We learned how to, looking at a graph of a quadratic function, how to identify the function in vertex form. In this lesson we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to be given the vertex form of a quadratic function and we're going to graph it. Okay, that's all we're going to do. So here's some steps that I have for us to be able to do this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to identify and plot the vertex, and we should be able to get the vertex from the vertex form. And then we're going to identify and sketch the axis of symmetry, just like we did in lesson 4.3. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a few x values that are close to the vertex, and we're going to plug them in to the vertex form, and we're going to get some y values. So we're going to have some points that go on the graph. We're going to plot those 2 points on the graph. Then what we're going to do is we're going to identify 2 other points that are symmetrical to those 2 points that we just identified because a parabola is symmetrical over the axis of symmetry. So then we will have, at that point, we will have 5 points plotted that give a pretty good shape of the parabola, and then all we're going to do is we're just going to sketch the parabola through those 5 points. That's it. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let me write out a function in vertex form here. So let's say that the function we're dealing with, I'll write it down here, is f of x. Let's say that it is x minus 3 squared, so x minus 3 quantity squared. That's 3 quantity squared minus 8. Okay. Now remember, so step 1 is to identify and plot the vertex. So the vertex is given by this number and this number, but remember, for the x, we have to reverse the sign. So this says minus 3 here, so we know that it's going to be positive 3. And then the y value is not reversed. So we see a minus 8 here, and so the y coordinate really is negative 8. And so the vertex is at the point 3, negative 8. And so if we go here, here's the origin. Well, where's my... There we go. 1, 2, 3, and then negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this point right here, that's the vertex of this parabola. Okay. So we're going to plot a point right there. There's our vertex. Okay, that's a good start. Then it says identify and sketch the axis of symmetry. Well, we know that the axis of symmetry is the vertical line x equals, and then whatever this x value is. So it's x equals 3. So it's a vertical line. I'm going to go ahead and change the color here so we can see it a little better. Something's happening. Oh, I see what's happening. So let's make this one green for now. Okay. And we're going to go here and we're going to sketch a vertical line. This is going to be our axis of symmetry right here. Okay. At x equals 3. All right. A little bit ugly, but it'll do the trick. We get the idea. That's where the axis of symmetry is. Okay. And now we want to, step 3, we want to plug in some x values. What do I mean by plug in x values that are plus or minus 2? Here's what I mean. I want to take the x equals 3. That's the x value of the vertex, 3. Okay. And I'm going to add 2 to it. So then I'm going to have x equals 5. And then I'm going to add 3 to it, to the original 3. So I'll have 6. So what I want to do here is, for step 3, I want to plug in x equals 5, and I want to plug in x equals 6. Where? Into the original function right here that we were given. Okay? So I want to know, well, what is f of 5? Well, f of 5 is going to be parenthesis, and instead of an x, I'm going to put a 5 in. 5, okay, minus 3 squared, and then minus 8. Okay, well, 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4, and 4 minus 8 is -4. And so f of 5 is -4. So we have a point 5, -4 that is on this parabola. Okay, the point 5, -4 is on the parabola. So here we're going to go to the origin. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to plot this point right here. Okay. Plot that right there. Whoops. There we go. Kind of ugly, but we did it. Okay. And now we're going to plug in f of 6. Okay. Let's do some erasing here. All right. Let's erase this. I'm going to erase. Whoops. I'm going to erase this right here. I'm going to erase this right here. Okay. Let's go back here. All right. So I don't know. I think I got rid of a couple letters here. That was an accident. All right, so I need f of 6 now. So that's going to be 6 minus 3 minus 8. Well, 6 minus 3, that's 3. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. And so that equals 1. And so now the other point that we want is going to be 6, comma 1. Okay? And so from here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then up 1 to right here. So that point right there is on the parabola. Okay? Right here, this point is on the parabola. So you can see right here, we've got a kind of a U shape going on, where we're going to go from here up through here, then we're going to go through here. Okay? It's a curved shape. Okay? Now, step 4 says plot the points that are symmetrical to the 2 points in 3. So let me remind you, this is the axis of symmetry. So we can go horizontally and find however far this point is from the axis of symmetry, there's a mirror point the same distance on the other side. Well, this point, if we go from the axis of symmetry, is 1, 2 units away. Therefore, there's going to be a point 1, 2 units away, perfectly horizontal. So this point right here, what is that, 1, -4, that is also on the parabola. It is the mirror point. It is the point of symmetry to the point 5, -4. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with this point right here. Going horizontally, sideways, over to the axis of symmetry from this point, we go 1, 2, 3 distance. So then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 distance again on the other side, and that'll give us our symmetry point right there, which also happens to be our y-intercept. I don't know if you noticed that. This is the y-axis, and so that's also our y-intercept. Okay? And so now we've identified those points, and so now we're going to sketch the parabola through these 5 points. Now watch how I sketch. I usually start at the vertex. So I'm going to come down here to the vertex, and I'm going to create the bottom of a U shape like that. Okay? Bottom of a U shape. Then I'm going to go up through this point. I'm going to go the other way and up through this point. Then, after I go through this point, I'm going to go up through this point right here. And then the same thing over on this side. It's a little ugly. There we go. And what you now see is a very ugly but reasonably correct parabola. Okay? And this is our rough parabola shape. It comes through this point, then it has the vertex here, so it changes direction, and then up, and then up. And this is what I want you to be able to do for lesson 4.4. Okay? I think we should do another example. Okay, so what you can see here is, here's our next example. We're going to graph y equals the negative of the quantity x minus 7 squared, and then plus 5. Okay, so as you can see, because this has a negative here, that means that it's going to be an upside down u. It's going to be a negative quadratic curve. Okay, first thing we want to do is identify and plot the vertex. Well, the vertex here, the x is going to come from this x minus 7, and the y is going to come from this plus 5. So because of this minus 7 here, remember that we changed the sign of the x. So it's not going to be -7, it's going to be positive 7. And over here, this says plus 5. But for the y value, we do not change the sign. We leave it as is, which is a positive 5. So it looks like our vertex is going to be at positive 7 and positive 5. Okay? So let's go over to positive 7, 1. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to go up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's our vertex right there. Okay, so we've plotted our vertex. Now we want to identify and sketch the axis of symmetry. Okay, which is going to be, it comes right from the x value. So it's going to be the vertical line x equals 7. Okay, all right, so let's change colors here just so that it's, so here's our axis of symmetry, which runs right through the vertex. Okay, here's our axis of symmetry. We're going to need that later when we want to do the symmetrical points. Okay, there we go. Okay, great. All right, now let's we're going to plug in a couple x values that are 2 above and 3 above our x here. So our x is 7. Well, 7 plus 2 is 9, and 7 plus 3 is 10. So we're going to plug in 9 and 10 to get y values for these points. So we want to know what is f. Oops, we'll stick with that color. Why not? Okay. Let's see here. So what is f of 9? All right. Well, for f of 9, we've got negative and then x minus 7. So that's going to be 9 minus 7. Then we're going to square it, and then we're going to add 5. Okay? And so what we have here is 9 minus 7, that's 2. 2 squared is 4. So what we have is negative 4 and then plus 5. Well, negative 4 plus 5 is 1. And therefore, the point that we're going to have here is going to be the point 9, 1. Okay, so let's go to 9, 1. Well, this point right here, the axis of symmetry, this is 7, so then we'll go 8, 9, and then up 1. There's 1 right there. Okay? All right, so we're going to put 1 point right there. Okay, great. And now let's identify f of 10, because this is now 7 plus 3. So f of 10 is going to be the negative of 10 minus 7, and then we're going to plus 5. Okay? And then, so 10 minus 7, that's 3. Oh, I forgot the square. 10 minus 7 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So we have negative 9 plus 5. Negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. And so the point we're looking at here is going to be 10 and negative 4. 10, negative 4. All right, well, this point right here, this is 7, then 8, then 9. Here's 10, and we want to go to negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So down here. Way over here in the corner. Whoops, I don't need to do that. Put a dot there. Okay, so now we're going to plot the points that are symmetrical to those 2 points. Okay, so here, from here, we want to go from here horizontally over the axis of symmetry, 1, 2. So then we're going to go 1, 2 over here, and that'll be our point of symmetry. So we're going to plot a point right there. Okay. Then we're going to do the same thing from this point. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. So then 1, 2, 3, and we're going to plot a point right there. Okay. All right. Now let me switch. I'm going to switch back over to red here. And so now we start at the vertex. We're going to draw our curve from the vertex like this. Notice it's going to be a downward U shape. We're going to go through that point, we're going to go through that point, and there is our parabola, at least that direction. Now coming this way, we're going to go through this point. That's a little ugly there, but that's okay. We're going to go through this point. You know, let me see if I can fix that, make it a little prettier. Let's see here. There we go. It's a little better. And there we go. Okay. And as you can see, we've got our downward turned parabola. It's a negative quadratic, and that's all we had to do. Okay. I think we should do just one more example. All right, here's our last example. All right, so see what we have here? This is our y equals x plus 2 squared minus 7. And we want to first identify and plot the vertex. The vertex is going to come from here. We've got, this says x plus 2, and so our x is going to be the opposite, so that's -2, and our y is going to come from this, which is -7, okay? And so let's go ahead and identify that. So our vertex is going to be at -2. This is covering it up. Let me stop that. There we go. All right, -2 and -7 is our vertex, okay? Because remember, the plus 2, the x is the opposite of this. So instead of plus 2, it's -2. But for the y value, it's the same, -7. Okay, so our vertex is -2 and -7. All right, so we're going to go from the origin, we're going to go over 1, -1, then -2, then we're going to go -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. So here's our vertex right here, okay? Then we want to identify and sketch the axis of symmetry, which is going to be the same x value. So it's going to be x equals -2, okay? All right, so let's switch over to red for that one, okay? Here, vertically, we're going to go, there we go, there's our axis of symmetry, going all the way up. Axis of symmetry, which, again, we're going to need when we do those symmetric points, okay? I think I'm going to go ahead and move my head over here because I don't think the graph is going to wind up very much over here. All right, so now we're going to plug in x values, plus 2 from the x. Okay, well, what's -2 plus 2? That's 0. And then -2 plus 3, that's 1. So we're going to plug in x equals 0 and x equals 1 into our quadratic right here, okay? And so, let me see here, let's go ahead and switch over to this. All right, and so we're going to do, well, what is f of 0? F of 0 is going to be equal to parenthesis 0, putting a 0 in for x, plus 2, then squared, minus 7. Okay, well, 0 plus 2 is 2, 2 squared is 4, 4 minus 7 is -3. And so we have the point 0 and -3 is on the graph, okay? So we're going to go to 0 and we're going to go to -3. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put a big point right there, okay? And then we need to identify f of 1. So f of 1 is going to be parenthesis 1 plus 2, then squared, minus 7. Well, 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So 9 minus 7, well, that equals 2. And so we're going to plot the point 1, 2, okay? All right, so from the origin, we'll go to here. That's 1, then 1, 2. There's our point right there, okay? All right, and now we're going to plot the points that are symmetrical to these 2 points. So from here, from 0, -3, we're going to go over 1, 2 to the axis of symmetry, and then 1, 2 more, and right here is where we're going to put our point of symmetry. Okay, right there. And then we're going to do the same thing up here. From this point, 1, 2, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3 to the axis of symmetry, and then 1, 2, 3 again. And we're going to put a point right here. Okay? So you can see these are mirror points. Go from the mirror, from the axis of symmetry, this is exactly far away as this. Same thing here. This is exactly far away as this. Okay? And so lastly, we're going to sketch the parabola through these 5 points. I recommend you start at the vertex, kind of make a little tiny U. That wasn't a very good little tiny U. Weird, actually. There we go. Let's try it again. Okay, we're going to make a little tiny U. There we go. Now, in this direction, we're going to go through this point, and then we're going to go through this point, and we're going to kind of stop there. This way, we're going to go through this point, and then we're going to go through this point, and we got a U, and you can see we have an upward turned parabola, which makes sense because this is positive, and that's all you have to do. I just want you to be able to take this, a quadratic function in vertex form, and then be able to sketch a rough graph of that parabola. Okay, and that's it for lesson 4.4.